Let's move on to the final topic of the night, the NFL QB carousel. Couple of QBs still deciding, hey, are they going to hang it up this season and kind of hold out, or are they going to report to their teams? We're only a few weeks away from mandatory camp starting, so these questions have got to start to be talked about at this point.
Yeah, no question. I mean, it's funny. I think with especially with the Packers, I don't know. I don't think Rodgers is going anywhere. I really don't. I don't see him getting traded. Like some folks have mentioned the 49ers because he's a Northern California guy. If I'm the Packers, I'm going to trade him to the 49ers. The first thing I'm asking for is Trey Lance. And that's not going to happen. So, what are you going to do? If Rodgers threatens to hold out, okay, well, whatever trade you're going to make, you're probably not getting a quarterback in return that can bring you to the Super Bowl. So why don't you just, stand your ground? If he's going to hold out, okay, then they'll develop Jordan Love and they'll go from there. And then, if there's a trade maybe early in the season, I mean, if I'm the Packers, I'm not showing my hand. I'm just going to wait on this. I don't think Rodgers is going anywhere. I think after a while, he's going to figure out, there's not necessarily a better situation for him lying somewhere else. I'm not really sure what other team who, a lot of teams would want Aaron Rodgers, but they don't want to give up what they're going to have to give up for him. Are the Patriots going to trade for Aaron Rodgers? No, they're going to have to trade Mac Jones to get him. So, that's not going to happen. And I just don't see him going anywhere. Deshaun Watson is kind of like a weird, I'm not sure what's going to happen there. Things have been quiet with the off the field stuff with Watson. Who knows what's going to happen there. I'm not sure what the next date as far as the law and how this whole thing is going to kind of unfold over the next few months, or even if it's going to happen during the season or at the end of the season or whatever. So, but the thing is, Watson doesn't have any leverage right now. Before he wanted to get out, now it's like, I don't know how many teams are going to want to trade for him with this thing looming over him, these sexual assault suits. So he's in a kind of weird place, too, where he doesn't have a lot of leverage. So I don't know if the Texans are going to trade him. Nick Caserio, who's now the GM, has learned under Bill Belichick, and he's not going to necessarily just trade him for peanuts. So, it's an interesting spot for both these quarterbacks. And I don't know if this is going to get settled this offseason. I really don't, because it's just both of them are in such unique situations where I don't think they're easily tradable. And like I mentioned, neither of them have really huge leverage in their situations right now.
Yeah, I agree. And producer Ben, he ain't going to the Eagles. Nice one. Nice try. I think the biggest thing is the Eagles are already sold on Jalen Hurts and potentially the future there with Hurts. So I don't think they're trading for Watson. I could be wrong, but I think if they, like you said, if they're trading for the Eagles, then Hurts is going to be part of that deal. Because like you said, any team that they're trading with that has a young QB, they're going to want that young QB in return for Watson. And I'll get back to the Watson. Let's go to Aaron Rodgers at first. I think that's more of a clear, cut and dry situation. And I don't think Rodgers is going anywhere. I think you're right there. I just think he's continuously putting himself more in the driver's seat to just control the organization more. And I've been saying that all along and calling more of the shots. And that's what he's wanted to do. He wants more leverage with the team and the roster because he wants to try to win a Super Bowl. He's been close these last few years. They've only been a few pieces away. I think Aaron wants to have some say on those pieces being filled so he can go try to win the championship. I don't understand what the problem is with Green Bay and why they just keep fumbling this situation. Just get it done. You have arguably one of the best quarterbacks of all time on your roster currently. The fans love him. Everybody loves this guy. And let's bring up the two situations of why Aaron's unhappy. They, first off, were idiots and drafted Jordan Love like you're going to draft a replacement when you've currently got one of the best quarterbacks in the game. That was stupid. Upset your starting quarterback. And then secondly, the contract negotiations. He wanted a contract extension to prove that they were committed to him, and that stalled out. At this point, man, if I'm Green Bay, here's what I do. I trade Jordan Love and get like a fourth-round pick or something and say, Jordan, sorry, buddy, you're out of here. And Aaron, this is proving we are committed to you. We're shipping this kid out the door, okay? And then secondly, I'm backing up the Brinks truck, and I'm giving this guy a 4 or 5 or 6 year deal with all the money he wants so he can come in, report to camp, feel comfortable and confident, and come back and lead my team possibly to the Super Bowl because we've been so close these last few years. So, man, Green Bay, wake up and get this done. Those are the 2 moves that you need to do. Honestly, I don't think they're going to trade Jordan Love, but that's what I would do, and I would solve that situation really fast. With Deshaun Watson, like I said, yeah, not really clear cut and dry. I will still point out nothing has been proven in the court of law yet on any of these allegations. And the longer it goes on, to me, the more it looks like these allegations are just false. You're not hearing anything more about them, right? Where there's smoke, there's fire. Well, guess what? The smoke has disappeared. It's clear now. It's completely gone. Deshaun Watson's just hanging out, playing quiet, doing the smart thing because that's what he is. He's a smart quarterback, smart young man. He's just playing the scenes, behind the scenes, and then he's going to make a decision whether he wants to report or whether or not he's going to sit out in this season. And I still think all the power is in Deshaun Watson's hands because, like I said, I think eventually it's going to come out that all these allegations were false. People are going to have to apologize to Deshaun Watson, and he's going to be back in the driver's seat being one of the best young quarterbacks in the NFL and having a chance to play wherever he wants. So I think if I'm Deshaun Watson, I strongly think about sitting out this year. And that's because I'm young, man. I'm young. I'm a young stud. I've still got plenty of years left in me. I'm not like Aaron Rodgers that possibly only has 5 or 6 years left. And obviously that's saying a lot. But Deshaun Watson possibly has 10 years left or more. So if I'm Deshaun Watson, I've got all the power right now. And I certainly don't want to play for that Texans squad. They've got trash at this point. They just keep getting worse by the day. The coaching staff, I think, is not good. They try to bring in a pony show of a coach to try to make me happy. That clearly didn't work. So if I'm Deshaun Watson, I'm still got all the power right now, and you might see him sit out. But I think that's a situation that we have to watch more closely going forward. I think the Aaron Rodgers situation is going to shuffle itself out over these next few weeks.
Yeah, I think going back to with the Packers, it'd be tough to trade Jordan Love for just a 4th-round pick. I know he hasn't shown anything. His worth as a prospect, as soon as you get drafted and then you're a backup for a year, your draft stock or your asset stock, I guess you could say, has really gone down. I mean, he's not even in Jimmy Garoppolo here in New England was not an asset to trade until he started a season for a couple of games when Brady was suspended for Deflategate, which was really stupid, but we'll save that for another show. But that's why he was a tradable asset, because teams saw him start a couple of games and he was very impressive in those wins. Whereas with Jordan Love, he hasn't started a game. He hasn't had to perform, and so he's got no, there's not much value there. So you really can't trade him. I see what you're saying, that I would show to Rodgers, hey, we're committed to you. I think the Packers, what they just need to do is get in a row with them and say, this is what our plan is during training camp. Teams are going to cut guys because of that salary cap structure this year, where the salary cap didn't grow as much as everybody thought it would because of last year's pandemic and so forth. And even though a team like the Patriots had a lot of free agency money, other teams didn't. Other teams were looking to cut bait. So some guys are going to get cut during camp just because of their salaries. Then maybe, Green Bay is keeping an eye on some players saying, Aaron, if this guy gets cut, which we think he might, we're going to bring him in. If this guy over here gets cut, we're going to bring him in. This defensive player, this tight end, this, an additional receiver for you. This is what we're planning on doing. And if Rodgers likes what he hears, most guys don't necessarily want to leave unless they're miserable and hate, their front office and hate the coach and all that kind of thing, which is sort of where Watson is right now. But Rodgers doesn't dislike Flynn. I mean, he seems to get along with Flynn pretty well. It was Mike McCarthy who's the one he didn't get along with. So, he seems to like Flynn. He's got Devontae Adams. They have a solid defense. They've got some young, good defensive players. So, they still have a shot in the NFC. So I don't see, Rodgers necessarily going anywhere. This might be a little more just to try to gain a little leverage going out to Hawaii, wherever he was, being the host of Jeopardy and so forth. So, but like you mentioned, the Watson thing, it's an interesting situation. We're going to see how it unfolds over the next few months. So we're talking about the NFL in July, but we love football, and training camp's coming up. not too long. So we have the Olympics and NFL training camp coming up in the next couple of weeks. It's going to be interesting to pay attention to. Folks, that's going to do it for our sports this week, our show this week here on Comeback Sports. Once again, if you are watching on YouTube, make sure you subscribe to the Comeback Sports YouTube channel. All the videos from Comeback Sports are going to be filtered to your subscription. When you subscribe, you can just go to your subscription page. It'll all be filtered there. The live shows, all the segments that are cut up that our producer Ben Kudo does a great job doing, they'll all be there, and you can check them out. It's really easy. You can do it on your phone, tablet, computer. Make sure you subscribe. Also, follow us on Twitter. Our Twitter handle is at the bottom of the screen. And throughout the show today, we had that call-in number. We probably didn't mention it enough, especially myself, but when we do a live show, give us a call. Check us out. We had a young man by the name of James Merlin last week who gave us a call, gave us a great NBA question. So anybody else who wants to give us a question, give us a call, give us a comment. If you don't like what we're saying about a topic, call in too. We'd love to debate with you. That's what this stuff is about. So make sure you give us a call on that number as well. Brandon, any final thoughts before we sign off here tonight?
Well, I know James is watching Game 4 right now, so I really want to hear his analysis next week of the NBA Finals. But also, Chiellini, man, I'm going to drag you down on site. The Azzurri with their cheap win. But yeah, Chiellini, watch your back, man. I'm dragging you down on site.
Brandon, you got to be careful. He's Italian. La Cosa Nostra could be coming after you, buddy. Just be careful. I don't want to see anything happen to you, my friend, okay? He's Italian. Just remember that. Folks, thanks so much for joining us here at Comeback Sports. We'll see you next time. Have a good week.
Coming for you, Chiellini.